Cleveland Browns' entire quarterback conversation may be upended by what they witnessed in their preseason opener. With no starting receivers, no first-team offensive line, and no preseason fanfare from the coaching staff, Shedeur Sanders took the field against the Carolina Panthers. Nevertheless, he performed in such an environment that it immediately caught the interest of league observers and supporters. His 2 touchdown passes weren't the only thing at stake here. When everything around him suggested that he should be simply another rookie battling for scraps, it was about the way he handled himself. He led several touchdown drives against a team that still had several of its starters on the field early, completing 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. He appeared to have been in the Browns system for years, since every throw seemed to have a purpose and every choice was well considered. Even more remarkable was the way he continued the offense without the protection of well-known targets like David Njoku or Jerry Jeudy. For someone who has been practicing primarily with the third team, this was a sneak peek at a quarterback who isn't content to remain at the bottom of the depth chart. This is where the narrative becomes even more interesting, though. The Browns are aware of how risky it can be to hurry a young quarterback, and this particular August night occurred outside of the regular season. After this debut, the team's approach to Sanders is more important than whether he can play. Do they keep the reins tight, or should he be given more responsibility right away? This preseason's future chapter will be determined by that choice, and knowing precisely what transpired on that field is the first step in finding the solution. For more Browns and NFL content, click the like and subscribe buttons before we get started. Let's try to get this video to receive 300 likes. As soon as Shedeur Sanders assumed control of the huddle, the Cleveland Browns sensed that the game was tilting. Real control, not hype or noise. While the defense attempted to quicken his pace, he managed cadence, changed defenses, and maintained a constant tempo. Here's the twist, though. The longest throws weren't the most significant plays. These choices converted simple opportunities into points and kept the offense on track. He sold the fake, rolled left, and hit Caden Davis with a touch throw over trailing coverage on the first scoring drive. Sanders moved up to hit Davis, breaking across the middle. A clean pickup in the backfield later gave him an extra pulse when pressure came off the edge. Nobody discusses how frequently he checked in for safer answers, made the right decision before the snap, and then trusted timing. The unit followed him as he called the next play with conviction and appeared composed following a defeat. The actual question arises at this point. Was this composure a one-time occurrence or the beginning of something that the staff may expand upon? The way Shedeur Sanders handled the pocket under various appearances is the first thing that strikes you when you watch the movie. He maintained a balanced base and slid just enough to keep throwing lanes available, rather than drifting into pressure. He planted firmly and delivered the ball with accuracy on snaps as the rush attempted to collapse from both sides. Even in situations where the protection wasn't ideal, he was able to sustain drives thanks to that modest movement. He demonstrated more than just arm strength by connecting with targets. To transform a contested play into a momentum swing, Luke Florera made a one-handed grab from a spot that only the receiver could reach. Sanders hit Gage Larvadain in stride to prolong the drive after he discovered a soft area in coverage on a crucial third down. These incidents didn't just happen. They came from his fast assessment of the defense and faith in the location of his receivers. All of this leads to a more significant point. Although the physical tools were evident at Jackson State and Colorado, this premiere demonstrated advancements in field vision, timing, and anticipation. We will then examine his actual position on the current quarterback depth chart and how the Browns may compare this performance to the expertise of the veterans who came before him. The Browns knew exactly who would start at quarterback going into the preseason opener. Because of his expertise and consistent command of the offense, Joe Flacco continued to be the best choice. Kenny Pickett was sitting behind him, recuperating from a hamstring injury, but still considered a veteran who could replace him when healthy. Shedeur Sanders, a rookie who was also selected in the third round, had been playing mostly with the third group during camp, while Dillon Gabriel, a rookie selected in the third round, had been receiving more regular second-team work. Covering for injuries in the room was closely related to Tyler Huntley's position. Although Sanders' performance versus Carolina did not immediately change that chart, it did spark a new discussion within the building. Now, coaches must decide if his success warrants an increase in practice reps, even if it means reducing opportunities for other players.
In actuality, both novices are still getting to know the system. However, Sanders exhibited characteristics in real-world settings that are more difficult to replicate in practice, which made the staff reevaluate his development trajectory. Now, it's more about how fast he can rise without pushing the process than it is about whether he belongs on the team. The team will next discuss how to strike a balance between the need to develop him into a long-term asset and the enthusiasm surrounding his debut, as well as why patience may often be just as crucial as opportunity. After just one preseason game, the Browns are not prepared to shove Shedeur Sanders into a starting position for a reason. Talented young quarterbacks have been forced into the NFL before they were ready, which frequently stalls their growth. Sanders may have demonstrated his ability to manage a quick pace and make deft throws, but facing elite defenders for an entire season presents a completely new set of expectations. Now, the objective is to allow him to continue making development without putting too much pressure on him too soon. It is not about questioning Sanders to keep Joe Flacco in the lead. It's about safeguarding his development. Because of his years of expertise, Flacco can manage unforeseen defensive adjustments, which is helpful for a newbie to see. The Browns can offer Sanders a learning curve that will benefit him long after this preseason is finished, by letting him observe how a veteran handles game plans, analyzes coverages, and handles pressure in late games. The true challenge will be determining when to increase his duties without creating unreasonably high standards. This entails focused repetitions in high-value scenarios where he can hone his abilities against more formidable opponents. The most crucial part of Shedeur Sanders' preseason may be the coming week. He will have a unique opportunity to drill against one of the league's more disciplined defenses when the Browns and Philadelphia Eagles collaborate. With starters on both teams accelerating the tempo and subjecting quarterbacks to game-like pressure, these practices are frequently more intense than preseason games. It's a perfect testing ground for a rookie who is still moving up the depth chart. The coaching staff will have new proof to support handing Sanders snaps with the starting offensive unit, if he can demonstrate that he belongs in those situations. He may test his chemistry with the same group that evaluates the senior quarterbacks by working with players like Jerry Jeudy and the starting offensive line. The Browns would be able to compare each quarterback's performance with identical personnel more easily in that scenario. These practices will be quickly followed by the second preseason game, and momentum can be generated here. In addition to bolstering his argument for a higher position, a successful week in both environments would put pressure on others vying for backup positions. In the victory over Carolina, a number of Browns players outside the quarterback's room left a lasting impression. Caden Davis, a wide receiver, took full advantage of his chances and twice found the end zone on accurate throws from Shedeur Sanders. Additionally, Gage Larvadain made an impression by converting a short yardage jet sweep into a touchdown and contributing crucial grabs that sustained drives. These performances might move both receivers closer to a roster lock, since they have been vying for depth places. Rookies Mason Graham and Carson Schwessinger showed the kind of defensive vigor that throws off the offensive rhythm. Even though Julian Okwara's 2 sacks deepened the conversation about the pass rush, these plays are significant because they provide Sanders with dependable support and possible playmakers. What do you think then? Should the Browns let Sanders continue developing step by step behind the veterans, or should they rush him into second-team reps right away? Please share your opinions here and let us know where you think he will fit in when the first week starts. To ensure you don't miss the next update as the quarterback competition in Cleveland intensifies, please press the like button and subscribe if you liked this breakdown.